There's more startup news. Startup Village, which is India's first technology incubator modelled on a public-private partnership, will soon morph into a pro-profit brand. What's more, in its latest digital avatar, the Village is looking at eventually becoming the country's first tech incubator to list on the bourses. Aditya Ali and Arib Sherwani get you all the details.
Startup Village in Kochi is now 3 years old, and in the last 3 years it has handheld nearly 70 physical startups and 500 virtual startups. Now it's time for phase 2 of its growth plan, and that has meant breaking physical barriers. Startup Village has done this by floating SV.co, a digital incubator for college students.
Any engineering student, whether in your first year or fourth year, or if you are like a smart school student between 8th standard to 12th standard, you can go online, go to www.sv.co/startincollege, and then you can join up for the free online MOOC course.
SV.co offers basic digital courses on entrepreneurship and intends to take 100 college startup teams to Silicon Valley for product development.
Startup Village courses have been built by taking successful case studies of student startups from India, and these case studies are then allowed for other students to understand how these young companies became successful. The second program that we are doing is to take 1,000 startups from India to Silicon Valley every year.
A key ingredient of SV.co or Startup Village 2.0 is its departure from the traditional not-for-profit mode of operation. Taking cues from larger peers in Israel, the incubator wants to build a revenue and monetization model. It says that while the Kerala government has announced plans to fund 1,000 startups annually, government grants have limited benefits.
Incubators are not able to attract the amount of grants it requires to build world-class incubators. So if you want to raise 100 crores, 200 crores to build an incubator, it's not possible to raise through grants.
So it has switched to a two-pronged revenue model. First, it gets a success fee from incubatee companies that close a funding or acquisition transaction. Second, SV.co charges a flat learning fee from first-time founders who sign up for its platform. With effective monetization, Startup Village will open the gates for external investors. It plans to raise $4 to $10 million over the next 18 to 24 months from social impact investors.
We are going to try and see if we can raise money from social venture capital funds, from high impact investors, from high net worth investors, and to see if at a later stage, public would also want to be the story or part of the story called Startup Village.
That means an IPO. So if things go as planned, Startup Village could become India's first tech incubator to go list on the stock exchanges. However, that milestone may come only 3 to 5 years down the road. With Aditya Ali in Kochi, in New Delhi, Arib Sherwani.